welcome to Lawyer of the Week. Lawyer of the Week is creating a global community of lawyers, solicitors, and their support to inform and to encourage each other. My name is Pamela Deneuve, and please join us for our interview this week. Hello, my name is Pamela Deneuve, and I'd like to welcome you to Lawyer of the Week. This week, we're very honored to have Francisco Ramos, Frank Ramos Jr. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about Frank. He is the administrative partner of the Miami litigation boutique firm of Clark Silvergate, PA, where he practices in the area of personal injury defense, product liability, employment, and commercial litigation. Frank serves on the board of the Defense Research Institute, DRI, and is a member of the Federation of Defense and Corporate Counsel, where he served as co-chair of the Deposition Boot Camp and serves as co-chair of the Art of Marketing Seminar. He is the past president of the Florida Defense Lawyers Association and past chair of the 11th Judicial Circuit Historical Society. He has served on boards of the Miami-Dade County Defense Bar Associations, FIU Honors Alumni Association, FIU Alumni Association, Parent to Parent of Miami, Miami Legal Services, and Florida Christian School. Now, Frank is also a very prolific writer, and he has written 5 books. Go Motivate Yourself from Law School to Litigator, The Associate's Handbook, Attorney Marketing 101, and Training Your Law Firm Associates. And he's written over 150 articles and has edited 4 books: The Defense Speaks, The Trial Tactics Defense Manual, The Deposition Manual, and Leadership for Lawyers. You can follow him on LinkedIn, and we will have all of his links at the bottom of our post here. So hello, Frank. Thank you for joining us for Lawyer of the Week.
Thanks so much for having me.
How do you do all that writing? That's really amazing. I'm so impressed.
I usually do it early in the morning or late in the evening.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm going to ask you the Lawyer of the Week questions.
Sure.
And the first question is, when and what made you decide to become a lawyer?
You know, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. Early on, I'd watch a lot of the old lawyer shows, including Perry Mason, and thought it was be a lot of fun, and had the lawyer bug ever since I was in elementary school, and followed through with classes that sort of helped me guide me along that path through high school and college. Went to University of Miami Law School here in Miami, and have been practicing about 20 years or so. So I've always wanted to do it.
Oh, wonderful. Now, have you lived in Florida most of your life?
No, actually, I grew up in Chicago, and elementary school there through 8th grade, and lived in Ravenswood, actually, and was really into art and writing short stories. And then my family moved to Miami in '86, where I started high school, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's really great. You know, I'm from a south suburb of Chicago myself.
Oh, really? Which one?
I grew up in a town outside of Chicago called Robbins, Illinois.
Right,
and
right.
I went to school in Midlothian and Blue Island, and went to college in Park Forest South.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I was actually in Chicago just last week.
Oh, were you? I was there a couple of months ago, actually. So has much changed for you?
Well, it's South Florida and Chicago are 2 very different environments, to put it simply. Although what I loved about Chicago, even going back last week, it's sort of a small town in a big city.
Yes, that's good. That's good. And did your family, did they always see your determination that you were going to be a lawyer as well?
Yeah, my dad was a meat packer, my mom was a maid, and they wanted more for me. I was the first individual from my family to go to college, and so they wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor, and so I picked one of the things they wanted, so it worked out pretty well.
Oh, I'm sure you've made them so proud.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. Now, tell me, what about your practice? What are your biggest wins and your biggest challenges?
Well, in our practice, we don't really try that many cases anymore, but we'll go to trial occasionally. I went to trial just last year on a bench trial, and we're hoping to get a resolution from the court soon. We're going to have our final closing argument in another month or so. I think the biggest challenge these days for trial lawyers is that we try so few cases that it's hard to get the experience we need or want, and especially more difficult for younger lawyers who rarely try cases, if ever, because clients don't want to entrust them with either an opening or a closing or a direct or cross. So I think the ever disappearing trial is going to be a challenge now, and will be a challenge in the future for lawyers, whether they're plaintiff or defense lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the I think opportunities I notice, or I have observed, that you've really assumed a more of a mentorship role to the younger lawyers. Can you talk a little bit about how that happened?
Sure, sure. I wrote a book back, well, actually, it started back with writing a column for the Dade County Bar Association Bulletin, where they had a monthly column, and I would just provide my advice. It was really sort of born of the fact that I had made my mistakes along the way and had learned the hard way in many respects, and didn't want other people to do what I had done in terms of the trips and falls and the obstacles. So I basically sort of thought through the issues that I had been challenged with and reduced them to about 800, 900 word articles, which eventually there was enough material there to turn into a book, which was the first book I wrote in 2007, From Law School to Litigator. I think in 2011 I blogged for a while and kind of stepped away from that. And then in the last year or so, I really got active on LinkedIn and basically do posts every day. And I've written several books for young lawyers. Most of my books are really directed toward young lawyers, whether it's to help them with the practice itself, whether it's to market themselves with the firms, to develop their leadership skills, and most importantly, so that they can be forward thinking and pay it forward and help others that are coming behind them.
That's really admirable, Frank. You know, a lot of lawyers have learned or have gone along the way, and they don't really think that their mind doesn't work as far as giving back. So I think it's very admirable. Is there something about you, your family, or your heritage, or something that makes you, really want to stop and help those who are coming up along the way?
Well, I mean, again, our family was a very working class family. We don't really have that many professionals in our family. It's a challenge for anybody who doesn't have a foundation of either lawyers or doctors, other professionals that come before them. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what to do. They don't appreciate the politics involved. And I had to learn a lot of the things the hard way. And if I can help others sort of avoid the mistakes I've made and have the vision I lacked, then that's how I want to help. And hopefully by just sharing what I've learned, other people will share what they've learned, and hopefully they'll follow suit as well.
Mm-hmm. That's really a good thought, that people can help along the way. It made me think about a story I heard about someone that they went to. I think it was a drive-through, a Starbucks or something, and the person paid for the person behind them, and then the next person paid for the person behind them, and this just went on for like half of the day. And
Right.
when you give, when people see you giving, you're like setting an example that probably a lot of the people that you're helping are going to help others along the way as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think whenever someone asks how I can help, I just tell them just to help someone else.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Now, what, who, or what is a perfect referral to your law practice?
Well, we do a mix of employment and commercial. And so a lot of the matters I'm handling, a lot of the matters our firm is handling are commercial disputes between companies or individuals, or we represent both companies and individuals in employment suits, whether it's discrimination or in terms of overtime, things like that. We have a fairly diverse practice, but those are two of our main areas of practice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And which one would you say you do more of?
Personally, right now I'm doing a lot more commercial litigation. We're handling a lot of preliminary injunctions in a variety of settings, which are always fun because whether you're filing one or you're on the receiving end, things move very fast, very quickly, and the case can start and end within 3 to 4 weeks, which is very unusual in our judicial system. So it's do not pass go, do not collect $200. You're off the races.
Well, now, It's one of the things that I notice that you write about a lot for the younger lawyers and for lawyers in general is how things are changing. And you've alluded to that a couple of times. What do you see are the biggest changes in the way law is being practiced and the way the trends are heading?
I think it's going to become less personal. I think it's going to become more of a commodity, and you're going to see the legal services being delivered more akin to the way Amazon or other large conglomerates are delivering, retail products, where people are going to go to some sort of large website and offer basically say, I need an attorney for X, and attorneys may bid on it, or attorneys may submit information. A lot of larger companies are doing that now, where they put out larger matters out to bid, and they see what quality and price they can get in return. So I just see the practice sort of evolving into a much more impersonal process, which is unfortunate because by definition, what we do is, attorney-client. It's very personal. It's very confidential, and I kind of see that sort of devolving to something very different. And I also see things like artificial intelligence and other items, and especially outsourcing a lot of the services we do abroad, sort of limiting what we'll be doing in the future. Will be a lot of the lower level type of work that we do will just simply be outsourced, and we're going to be limited to more high level work. And just it's going to be hard to think that there's going to be that much work to go around for the number of lawyers that are in this country and the state of Florida.
Yeah, so that was my next question. What do you recommend for young lawyers who have gone to school, they have a debt, and it's not easy to find a job, and the jobs are diminishing? What do you recommend?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First, they need to develop a large network of individuals, both online and in person. A lot of voluntary bar associations have reduced rates for young lawyers to attend their seminars or conferences. It's difficult, but people need to sort of go out there when they can, either to a reception or to a CLE, and meet people and contact them and follow up with them. I think what we're going to do as our firm, when we hire people, is generally through people we know or people we've met. Just getting a blind resume, either through the email or by mail, doesn't really carry much weight these days. So that's one thing. And two, young lawyers certainly have an advantage. They're much more attuned to the technological changes that are happening all around us. More senior lawyers are looking to them to sort of appreciate and better understand what's happening, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or another social media, whether it's blogging or changes that need to be made to the website, whether it's on-demand programming through CLE. There's a lot of things that are going on that are being missed by more senior counsel that younger lawyers can certainly clue them in on and help them with.
Okay, that's good to know. Now I wanted to ask you another question because you're seem to be very attuned to social media, and I've met and actually worked with a lot of lawyers who've practiced law as long as you have, who are not. What made you more sensitive to the need to being astute as far as social media is concerned?
I think the key for social media, what people don't appreciate, is that if you want a case referral from an attorney, you need to be in his or her mind at the time the case crosses his or her desk. And it's really hard to do if you're not on social media. If you're not regularly posting either on Facebook or LinkedIn, and they're not following you and reading about you and reading your ideas and your thoughts, they're probably not thinking about you. So when that case hits their desk, they may not think of Frank Ramos because they haven't heard from me in sort of a social media context in months. Like, obviously, we don't have time to call all our contacts every month and ask them how they're doing. But social media provides us a shortcut to sort of stay in the forefront of their minds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what made you realize that?
Well, we sat down a couple of years ago and as a firm, and we're trying to figure out how do we stay in touch with our clients or referral sources, our friends, and we made a list of people we knew, and it was a long list, and there was just no way physically or time-wise to reach out to all of them or even most of them on a regular basis other than friending them on Facebook or connecting with them on LinkedIn or sending them email blasts or whatever it might be. Because the old ways are just, we still do that. We still have lunches, we still have breakfasts, we still meet people, we still call people. But as you can appreciate with busy practice, you can only do that so often. And social media provides another layer of sort of being up front and center for the people who want to refer you matters.
Okay, that's very important. It is important. Now, what legacy would you like to leave in your law practice?
You know, I like to leave the legacy of people following my lead in terms of understanding that we all have an obligation to those around us, especially younger lawyers who are coming behind us. You know, I'm Hispanic. Attorneys of color always have challenges that other attorneys don't have. They don't have the support, a lot of their families. They don't have the political know-how sometimes because they haven't been in 4 or 5 generations of lawyers or doctors or whatever it might be. And so for those of us who have those challenges, you know, first we actually have to do the best we can to advance our own careers. But while we do that, we have an obligation for the younger lawyers coming behind us to do the same. So I guess if I have a legacy, hopefully I can start seeing other people start posting and start sending articles and start having lunches with younger lawyers and following that.
Well, that's really great. That's really great. So now I always ask one last question, and that is, could you name something that you like to do to manage your stress levels?
Sure. We have a dog. It's a rescue dog. It's a little Chihuahua Terrier mix. It's a very spunky dog, and so we take her for walks a long time. And even though it's a small in size, she can walk for miles on end. So
Really?
walks can really help us relieve a lot of stress. My wife and I take the dog for a walk.
Oh, great, great. I'm sure that's really relaxing. I have 2 myself,
Okay.
2 rescues. And we start our day, I go to the beach. I'm actually in Jacksonville.
Okay. What type of dogs are they?
I have a Bichon Poodle
Oh wow. Okay.
mix and a Maltese Westie.
All right.
And yours is?
It's a half Chihuahua, half Terrier. It's about 8
Right.
pounds.
Oh, wow, a little baby, yeah. Well, yeah, so anyone who's a pet lover who's watching or listening knows that pets can really help you laugh, and relax.
Right.
And there's never a dull moment, right?
They're always happy to see you and get home.
Yeah, that's right. That's really true. Well, Frank, I'm so glad that you took the time to be our lawyer of the week. It's just, I just have to say, I feel really honored. I've heard wonderful things about you, and I read a lot of your posts on LinkedIn, and I noticed that you have a lot of people that really look forward to hearing what you have to say on different subjects.
Thank
And
you.
so you've really already, building your legacy already. And I'm sure, are your parents still both alive?
My mom passed away in 2013. My dad's still alive. He's 84.
Okay.
He lives in Hollandale. I live in Miami, so he lives about 30 minutes away.
Oh, great. So I'm sure he's very proud of you, and I'm sure your mother was very proud of you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being the lawyer of the week, and I hope to see you again next week.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Thank you for joining Lawyer of the Week. We hope to see you again next week.